Bats.
Here.
Beitler. Fox.
Here.
Heck.
Here.
Hetrick. Coffin. Hester. Here. Palmer.
Here.
Rissmiller.
Here.
Looking for a motion to approve the acceptance of the minutes listed.
So moved.
Second. Any comments? Roll call.
Rissmiller.
Yes.
Heck.
Yes.
Bats.
Yes.
Kester.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Fox.
Yes. Just the financial reports there, please.
All right. We'll approve the following financial reports, January as listed below, which is 4/1 through 4/13.
Second. Any comments? Roll call.
Rissmiller.
Yes.
Heck.
Yes.
Bats.
Yes.
Kester.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Fox.
Yes.
Hetrick.
Yes. Are there any citizens or students wishing to address the board pertaining to agenda items only? Seeing none, moving into reports and recommendations of the superintendent. Dr. Nesbitt.
I have two items for tonight. The first item is our FFA will be presenting for a state leadership conference that they'll be attending. So I will turn it over to Mrs. Carter.
Hello. I'd like to present and ask you to approve that we attend the State Legislator Leadership Committee conference. And this conference is a little different than the one we just got back from ACES. It really focuses on policy development and advocacy, ag advocacy, and talking to the public. So we're limited to 5 students, and we really tried to find students that are really interested in that. Now, it is over spring break this year. It's from March 24th to the 26th. So we had some students conflict their schedules. But so the students, what I'm getting at is the students on your list are different than who's going. I have the new students that are going. We would be taking seniors, Mason Westner, Emma Schuler, Bella Henn, and then juniors, Hannah Klemple and Brooke Bixler. It is a 3-day conference. The last morning we have breakfast with our state representatives, and sometimes it changes on who can actually be there when they're in session or not, so I can't tell you exactly who we'll be sitting with. But it's really personal, and the kids get to speak a lot to them, so we do try to only take kids that are really interested. Do you have any questions?
So what are they learning? Like how to pursue laws to help?
Yeah, so they'll have workshops on parliamentary procedure. They have bills that are in the legislation right now that are being debated, so they go over that and they actually debate those bills. And they go through how things are changed or amended, so they kind of have their own pretend caucus there as well. And then they have their fun, their dance night and things like that. It's a lot of work. This conference isn't one that I take students to that don't want to work, because ACES is more of a fun and social, and they do fun things. SLLC is the kids are working, and then they have their little dance night. So
It's good for them to mix with legislators
most
and
definitely.
help keep agriculture and FFA in front of their eyes.
Yes, so I don't know if you guys saw, we were invited to chaperone Commissioner Leinbach to the farm show, and we took Landon and David, and we attended the elected officials luncheon. And they said they met so many people, they shook hands and talked to people. It was so good for them. We got a behind the scenes tour, and they were even on TV, they got interviewed. So I really think, my thing is you're not going to change anything unless you're in there. And you guys all know because you're sitting here on the board. You need to be in it to change it. You can't stand outside and complain. So I try to get the kids to know these people and be on the boards, and when they get out of school, they're going to be leaving. So. Can I answer any other questions?
Sounds good.
I would like to shout out, we just came back from a public speaking contest, so I have the kiddos with me. The van's parked out there. We didn't have time to drop them off. They did awesome. Our kids are doing so much this year. I just want to thank you for that.
You want to give a speech?
Come on, go and speak it.
think they only do one a day. Thank you.
So that approval will be on the agenda shortly. The next item is the last meeting we presented about the before and after school care program, and so we did a little more clarification, went back and asked some of the questions that were presented. So I'll ask Lindsay to come up, and what we can do is we'll go through the different questions that we had that were presented to us. There's two documents for you. One is kind of that question answer. The other one is there were some questions about the character education piece to kind of explain about that. Some sample lessons or activities they'll do with kids. So I will turn it over to Lindsay, and I'll help Lindsay navigate this.
Not used to you sitting over.
I know, I was trying to keep a low profile. So thank you again for listening to our proposal last week. I'm here to represent myself and Mr. Gears. I met with Wendell Spalding, who's the Executive Director of Healthy Kids Program, and presented all the questions and had some really good follow-up discussion following our presentation. So I just kind of wanted to take you through the answers that he was able to give. So you have them in front of you. So the first question was, what's the cost for before and after school care at Little Sprouts, which is, the local care spot in Burnville. So I actually spoke to a few parents about that. It's $90 per week per child just for before school currently. So the parent that I spoke with is currently paying $180 per week just for the before school care. Another parent who took their child previously was paying $150 per week. I'm not sure how in the past that was. So I just tried to give some.
Was that both before and after?
The $150 per week, no, that was just after school. Is it a monthly cost or an hourly cost? So it is a monthly cost, but it's dependent on the hours that it's offered. So I was trying to clarify that and give you some more specifics. So what he tried to explain to me was the rate is developed at a $5 per hour rate, but it is calculated with the 180 school days divided by 10 to create a monthly pricing for families. So we sifted out rates for before school program if we're offering a 7 to 8:30 a.m. program. And so you'll see those prices. If you're looking at 4 to 5 days, which they consider full-time, they're looking at $135 per month. 2 to 3 days per week, which is considered part-time, is $101 per month. 1 day per week is $60 per month, and then a drop-in day is $15 per day. The rate for after school, which is 3:30 to 6:30 p.m., so that's a 3-hour time slot. Full-time, 4 to 5 days, is $270 per month. 2 to 3 days, which is that part-time, $202 per month. 1 day per week is $120 per month, and then that drop-in day is $30 per day. I did talk to him about that time frame, that 3:30 to 6:30, and I kind of asked that question, is it different if you pick up earlier or not? He said it is not, and that's because of staffing. To be able to pay staffing that whole time, they charge that one price. I also asked him about timing, do we have to have that 3-hour slot till 6:30? He said, as far as making it work, hiring part-time staff, yes, that he would recommend that 3 hours. Is there a multi-child discount? So yes, there's a 10% sibling discount. And there's also a discount if you do both before and after school. So for full-time, both before and after school, 4 to 5 days a week is $365 per month. And he also told me if you have multi-child and full-time, you get both discounts, both the 10% discounts.
Now originally, not to interrupt you,
Yeah.
originally when we gave numbers last meeting, those numbers were based off of a start time of 6 o'clock.
6:30.
Yeah. So they've been adjusted, they're a little bit lower because the start is at 7 and not 6.
I did my best to get the reference from Columbia, and I emailed and I called, and unfortunately, out of my control, they never got back to me. But I was able to find out that Hamburg Area School District is bringing Healthy Kids program to their district. So they're having it start next year in both their elementary schools and the middle school as well. So I thought I would add that in. There are not currently any grants available through the program. However, the program does take the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services child care subsidy for any families that qualify through the county. And that's accepted as payment. Someone asked if numbers are required after year 1 for the program to continue, because as Mr. Gears and I said, the first year there is no program minimum for participation. So beyond year 1, there's no cutoff point or magic number, but he did say, just for licensing wise, he's 100% comfortable saying the number is 12 for sure, a minimum of 12. But he also said he'd likely still run the program at 7 to 8 students, especially if we think it will grow and just needs time. Is the pricing for a family to utilize after-school care different if they pick up at 4:30 versus 6? And I think I answered that no. Parents can pick up anytime, but it won't change the price. His answer to this was funny. Could multiple schools in the county using Healthy Kids program reduce the cost to families? He was like, it would be awesome, but it wouldn't reduce individual costs. What it would allow them to be able to do would be able to possibly get more team on their leadership staff as far as like regional director, administration kind of thing. And then finally, someone asked what is a character development curriculum. So I think I said last time too, he explained it's really not a curriculum. The goal isn't to teach, it's really more so activity and relationship based, so there's no formal curriculum. He did provide a few activity examples that you have that are more so like arts and crafts, circle time prompts kinds of things. He gave an example, like if there's a discipline issue or behavior, they have them do a choice journal so that they can identify the issue, they give suggestions of what they would do next time if given a different choice. Very similar to how we do it in school. So those were all the questions that we were given last time. Any additional follow-up questions?
So we got about 15 more questions for you.
I'll set up my meeting with Adele next week.
Is it?
What's that?
Can we go through this real quick?
Sure. So some of the examples, did you give them all? Okay, awesome. So some of them are little arts and crafts. There's an upcycled self-portrait that just kind of helps the students kind of come up with like what they're about, self-portrait. Letters to myself, they kind of reflect on what they want to remember from their life at this time, and they write little, letters to themselves. They have a busy jar, and so, they're creating activities and putting them into a jar on paper of things that they can do to keep themselves learning, engaged. They have calm cards, where they're looking to identify 26 positive things to help them calm down or cope when they're having strong feelings. A calm cards challenge. So they use those cards then to actually practice using those skills. And then you'll see that they have an example of the calm card handout there.
Doesn't it benefit getting started and doing this right?
So when I spoke with Wendell, it takes a good chunk of time to get through licensing and getting everything that they need to be able to start, also to advertise for staffing, to be able to get people up and running. So the sooner the better, but that's ultimately.
Everybody okay with it?
Some questions.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I have some questions.
So, this was asked before, I apologize. I'm assuming they take care of running background checks on everybody that's gonna be in the school?
Yes.
And all that, so is there any liability to the district if something transpires with those people in the school? even
No,
though it's
I mean, it is all
outside?
completely run by the outside program. They provide, background checks, clearances, and all of those things, and they're hired and staffed through the program. There's no real connection connection to us other than the fact that they're just using our facilities.
Do we still have oversight though?
What's that?
Do we still have like some oversight though?
On like hiring and that kind of thing?
Not necessarily what goes on in the program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of the one question I had. What if, I look at these examples there, for lack of better terms, if I was a kid and somebody handed me these things, those rocks would probably be getting thrown, not just held there to relax. Do you envision having to get involved if there's issues?
So I don't envision having to get involved if there are student issues, because ultimately the staff are supposed to be handling and taking care of any student issues. They have direct contact with the families. If there are issues that would be brought to my attention from the parents, like in our district, that are taking their kids there with a staff member or something, I would obviously reach out to the regional director and, their staff to kind of handle that. But nothing is supposed to come directly to me per se.
Did we have any issues when we had that before with Bell and Company? Nothing recently.
So are they hiring teachers, or like what type of person are they looking at for?
They said that they would be open to like hires from our district that would be interested, who are, sometimes teachers, sometimes not. So they're looking for, I think people that are interested in working with kids and helping them to do homework and operate, the before and after school tasks.
Sonny, I'm just interested, you did answer the question about there's no formal curriculum.
Mhm.
But you don't get hired for a job like this and say, okay, you just help them do crafts. And they have to have, as a new employee, guidelines to what you talk about, what you don't talk about, what you're allowed to talk about, what you're telling the kids. How much freedom do I have as an employee that I can give my opinions? And, I'm saying, like, curriculum is, we can use that as very, closed word, like this is curriculum. But I would imagine the employees still have training as to what they're saying to the kids or not saying to the kids. And I think I understand from the last meeting, I don't remember who, that you kind of talked to them, guided them as to what type of district we are, what our morals are, what our standards are. And I mean, like, letters to yourself, some of the wording in that maroon box has me a little edgy. If you're just writing a picture about what happened to you, but when you're asking a kid, what are you feeling? What's your day like? What are your parents like? They're digging into the family, and I'm not real cool with that. If a child has a problem, I would hope during school a teacher spends a lot more time, may see that, may help with guidance, bringing them alongside them or whatever. So I'm just curious as to what they lay in front of the employee as far as they have to have guidelines, stuff they're telling them. So I would like to know more. That'd be great. Thanks.
So then we'll vote on this next time. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay. Do you have any notices or communications? All right. We're going to roll right into items for board action.
Okay, 9.0.1, move that we approve the listed appointments for board committees for 2024.
Mike, second.
Any comments? Roll call?
Rissmiller,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Bats,
Yes.
Kester. Yes. Palmer,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Hedrick.
Yes.
9.0.2, move that we approve the listed board representatives for 2024.
Mike, second.
Any comments? Roll call?
Heck,
Yes.
Bats,
Yes.
Kester. Yes. Palmer,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Hedrick,
Yes.
Rissmiller.
Yes. 9.0.3, move that we approve members of the Tulpehocken FFA to attend the 2024 State Legislative Leadership Conference as presented.
second.
Any comments? Roll call?
Bats,
Yes.
Kester,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Hedrick,
Yes.
Rissmiller,
Yes.
Heck.
Yes.
And 9.0.4, I move that we approve the purchase of Phase 1 furniture for the middle school, high school renovation project from Tanner Furniture at a cost of $766,522 through CoStar's prices.
Heck second.
Any comments? Roll call?
Hoffman. Oops, sorry. Kester,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Hedrick,
Yes.
Rissmiller,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Bats.
Yes. Moving on to 9.1, finance. Mr. Hack.
All right. 9.1.1, we're going to approve the 24-25 Berkshire County Intermediate Unit mandated services budget as presented to the board, vote to be taken twice.
Fox second.
Any comments? Roll call?
Kester. Yes. Palmer,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Hedrick,
Yes.
Rissmiller,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Bats.
Yes.
Taken it twice, second time.
Do you need a motion?
Oops, sorry.
I think we probably do, don't we? Don't we
Need a second
say
motion.
anything? Yeah.
Yes, second motion. And a second.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we take the vote again for 9.1.1.
Well, the explanation is one vote is the vote of the board, so there are 18 school districts, so there's 18 votes. The second vote is the individual board members. You also have to have a majority of the individual board members approve the budget. So the board could vote 5-4 in favor of it, but, 5-4 in favor of it, that vote would be just the board voting. But then you tally up the individual board members, it could be 5-4, and you only have 4 votes, against 5 in favor. And depending on how that pans out throughout the county, you have to have both the majority of all the board members in the county and the majority of the school districts. So that's why the vote's there.
You need a second
I need
for
a second.
Fox's second.
Any comments on the second time? Roll call?
Palmer,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Hedrick,
Yes.
Rissmiller,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Bats,
Yes.
Kester.
Yes.
Great. Moving on to buildings and grounds.
All right. 9.2.1, we'll approve the purchase of switches from Gov Connections using PPM pricing at a total of $56,224.08 using E-rate funding.
Fox second.
Any comments? Roll call?
Fox,
Yes.
Hedrick,
Yes.
Rissmiller,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Bats.
Yes.
Kester. Yes. Palmer.
Yes.
Awesome.
Have at it.
All right. Yes, we honor roll. Okay. 9.4.1, give second reading and the final approval of the following policies. I'm going to say as listed, 901 through 918.
Fox second.
I have some comments. Of course, I can't open it right now. So on 907, the second page under, this is not really going to work.
Do you remember what it said?
Yeah, it was about classroom visiting, and I remember we've talked about this like in the past. It's close to the top on the second page. It talked about like not being able to visit classrooms unless there's notice like ahead, and then it said it was highlighted in blue and with by superintendent guidelines or something like that. And I was just curious what that was, what that meant. Like, is for a parent, is for a school board member?
Typically, the the way the policies are written is that you can't just come unannounced and say, I would like to visit that classroom. Even in our last policy, what probably clarifies more language in this one is that you would have to make arrangements with either normally the principal and then the teacher to be a visitor in that classroom. As a parent.
Oh.
As a parent. So but as principals and admin, I mean, you're not required that,
No.
are you? And
No, we can come in and go, yes.
I'm just curious why. I mean, I understand there's days the teacher's like, today we just finished a hard unit, we're gonna play a game about the unit, or whatever. And I mean, I would think as a parent or a board member, you walk in on that, you shouldn't, condemn it. Like, the teacher says, hey, we just went through a bad. So I guess I don't understand exactly why. I mean, I realize as a teacher, it might scare you, catch you unaware. Is that basically the?
I think part of it is if somebody if you had people that just came in and demanded and said, I want to go to this classroom,
Yeah.
there could be a million different things that are going on. Like, I'll give you an example.
Or reasons why.
Yeah, today, we had somebody who consistently volunteers in a kindergarten classroom, and it was not a good day to have a volunteer. So, Mr. Gears talked to the volunteer and just said, hey, today's not a good day, come back on the next, they come weekly to volunteer.
Okay.
It's more or less to give heads up to the teacher. I mean, I know I don't want to say that I guess it could give the appearance that you're trying to hide something, but I think it's more of the convenience sake of making sure that, there's not, an activity that's planned that somebody's just coming in and it doesn't make sense to have a visitor, or that, there's something with that particular student that, it's just not convenient at that time.
Matt, can you send me those lists again? I don't know why I can't open it. I did earlier today, I think from the maybe sent. Okay, actually, I wrote enough notes that maybe on number 918, on page 2 again, top of the page again, in that paragraph, it was stated that like in dealing with parents or caregivers, especially that English isn't their first language, that when we're communicating with them, more so probably in a letter or written communication, that it's written in a language that they understand. So I guess I was just curious how we go about that. Say they speak Chinese, Spanish is pretty, common, but there's a whole variety there. So now with AI available, like I know businesses now that they take advantage of that, and that cuts expense, time, whatever. I mean, I don't know, have we thought about that, or do we use that, or?
So we will use, from time to time, if it's a language that a staff member has,
Right.
we will utilize that.
Sure, of course.
If it's called trusted translation, that we can get on the fly, oral translation or verbal translation. We've used Google Translate. If it's something official, we do go out and get a service. Like if it's an IP or legal document, that is officially translated. But a lot of times we're using like Google Translator.
Oh, okay, so that works pretty quickly. Yeah, I was just thinking like way it costs a little, like,
Yeah.
now AI's out there. I don't know how reliable, but I know
Yeah.
already there are businesses that say, yeah, we use it. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. Now, a business I know that does use it said that they actually do have a person then who speaks that language just to check
Check
it
it
and
out.
make sure after AI.
Yeah.
does the- So, okay. That is good.
Oh.
And actually that might be the end. Yeah. Yeah, so that's all. Thanks, Matt.
Yep. At Tulpehocken, they actually have a guy that just does AI, and he goes around and shows the teachers how they can use it in the classroom. And the example they gave us when we had our VOTEC meeting was mock interviews. and they can put in the job that the kid is interviewing for, and the AI adapts the interview exactly to that job. And he also said he's willing to come to school districts to different school districts to help staff or administration learn where it can be. And I was sitting there and I'm like, AI, I'm dead against it. And then he starts telling us some of the stuff we can do. So I think there is some benefit depending how it's used, but that's all he does there. And he is willing to come out to Tulpe and kind of get us started on it if there's avenues we think we can use it.
There's nothing like a face-to-face interview.
No, I
To make
agree,
you sweat.
I agree. But, you know, you interview,
Yes.
like, you go in and you interview, and you know nothing about the business. And say they're interviewing for, steel rolling or making specialized steel. And we can try to interview that, but this could really get into more involved interview.
Yep.
I think there is some benefits to it. Like I said, I was sitting there, there's no way in hell. And the more I listen, I guess there is some benefit to it.
Next thing on the flip side, the person going for the job will be AI and what they need to talk about to get the job.
Robots. Not my fault.
So do we need a second?
I have a second.
Okay. Any other comments? Roll call.
Petrick,
Yes.
Rissmiller,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Bats,
Yes.
Kester,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Yes.
Curriculum, Mrs. Rissmiller.
9.5.1, move we approve the adoption and purchase of illustrative math as our K-6 math program starting with the 2024-25 school year, cost of $62,649.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Rissmiller,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Bats,
Yes.
Kester,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Petrick.
Yes.
All right, personnel, Mr. Palmer.
9.8.1, I move that we accept the following resignations. Eric Wentling as a high school social studies teacher for the purpose of retirement, effective 5/31/24, and Ann Binner as a part-time cafeteria worker at Penn Burnville, effective 2/23/24.
Second.
Any comments?
You know, for me, Mr. Rutland was a favorite.
But
with my
I was
kids.
gonna do the voice vote, but maybe just to
Yeah.
show him we don't want him to leave, right?
No, no.
He might not be able to retire if we do that.
All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. No.
31,
31.
right? I think that's what he said.
Did I say 31? Is it 30 or 31?
9.8.2, I move that we rescind the following as listed there.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call, or,
Heck,
yeah. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
9.8.3, I move that we rescind the following supplemental contract as listed there.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
9.8.4, I move that we approve Aaron Shaw as a full-time custodian at the Bethel Elementary School at an hourly rate of $16 effective 2/21/24, pending completion of paperwork.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Kester, Palmer,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Petrick,
Yes.
Rissmiller,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Bats.
Yes.
9.8.5, I move that we approve the following lead teacher for the remainder of the 23-24 school year as listed there.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Kester,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Petrick,
Yes.
Rissmiller,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Bats.
Yes.
9.8.6, I move that we approve the following substitute classified staff for the remainder of the 23-24 school year as listed.
Heck second.
Any comments? Roll call?
Palmer,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Petra,
Yes.
Rissmiller,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Bats,
Yes.
Hester,
Yes.
9.8.7, I move that we approve the following volunteers for the remainder of the 23-24 school year as listed.
Heck second.
Any comments? Roll call?
Fox,
Yes.
Petra,
Yes.
Rissmiller,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Bats,
No.
Hester,
Yes.
Palmer.
No.
All right, does anybody have any, yeah, 5-2. Does anybody have any new business to discuss? Does anybody have any old business to discuss?
Yeah, I think if we run them like this, we can eliminate and go to one meeting a month.
All in favor?
Under old business, I do have something to report on the Burnville playground. We met down there with the owner of the turf company. It was Mr. Quanick, Dr. Nesnick, and Mr. Shirk, myself, Matt Hetrick, and Bill Palmer. We had met with him over his concerns, over his contract obligations and whatnot, and we came to a resolution that we would reimburse him for some of the stone that he had put out in lieu of just getting the job done. He seemed to be kind of stuck, so we agreed to reimburse him $10,000 of the stone that he had over and exceeded what he budgeted, and we gave him a deadline of Friday, with the exception of inclement weather. And who would have thought we would have had 2 snowstorms in that short period of time? So I do believe he was set to finish up tonight. Did you hear from him yet?
I didn't hear from him yet. He was very close this
Okay.
afternoon. He was pretty much just cleaning up, just wrapping up the equipment and
I
everything.
talked to him at like 2:45 and he was, just a couple staples and run the sweeper again.
So I will say the meeting was a little difficult to get navigated, but once we got a direction, we got it done. And I'm very grateful that he, Ryan, stepped up and actually honored his contract and finished as well. So it appears, everything that I was there twice, Mr. Hetrick was there looking at it as well. It appears he did a really good job, so hopefully it's there to last. So I guess next time on the agenda, we'll have the additional $10,000 to vote on. But I would say if he is completed and you visually inspected that, we're good to release his final contractual payment as soon as you see that it's finished. Unless anybody has concerns about that.
No, I think we should do that. Yeah, I think we should do it.
Calendar events are listed there.
As long as everybody agrees to do it, you can ratify.
No, he automatically gets his contractual end.
Yes.
That we already approved.
Part.
The 10,000, we can do that next time. I think
It's
that's
only
fair.
2 weeks, well.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I mean, if you're okay, if the general consensus is that we proceed with that, we can cut the check and like Ryan said, ratify it next meeting. You know, retroactive.
If you're satisfied with the job.
Yeah.
It was kind of the best of both worlds, because the money that he was getting contracted, that we still had to pay, but because he wasn't finished, we would have had to send back to the federal government, then we would have to pay it out of our own pocket, so it was kind of rock between 2 corners. You know, you want to say one between 2 roses. Get it done, but it was, he did come through and did a nice job.
He did.
And I do think there's the scope of work I don't know that anybody saw how deep some spots would have to be, you know, to fill it. So I think the $10,000 is fair for what the work he's had to do, the time he put in.
And I'll also say, I believe it was a world record to get Bill Palmer to spend any money.
He hasn't voted yet.
True.
Put his signature on it. A non-binding document.
So anyway, anyone have anything else, old business? Calendar events is listed there. Friday is the FFA breakfast. I can't believe they didn't talk about that when they were here. That's always a good time.
They were tired of talking.
Yeah.
Does anyone wish to address the board this evening? Are you sure? Got a chance? Can I call on you just to?
Just roll call, say.
Looking for a motion to adjourn. We will not be having an executive session.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, give their consent by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.